Hey guys, just got done watching Hatchet 3 from 2013, the third movie in the Hatchet Trilogy. And it's got me wondering if there's going to be a fourth because it ends the same kind of way as the other two did, where you're not sure what's happening. But at least this time, I guess, it did have more of a proper ending. Like the first one, she ends being grabbed hold of on the boat. The second one ends with her blowing Victor Crowley's head off, basically. And the third one basically ends with her not being able to go like this. So at least that's more of a, but it does make me wonder if they're going to do a fourth one eventually. I have to admit, I'd rather they didn't. Not because I don't like the films, but because you've kind of seen the same thing now. It reminds me of Friday the 13th. I mean, we watched them go to the camp 7 times and then get killed, and then they did in Manhattan. So I mean, it was all right in the 80s, it was all right in the 90s, but now we expect more. We've had it for so many years, the same horror movie repeated over and over and over again. But we actually want something new. Whether you love slashers or you love horror or you love like any genre. It's like wrestling. If you see the same match over and over again, you get bored and sick of it. If you watch the Fast and the Furious and the same thing happened in every single movie, the exact same thing, you'd be bored. So, the movie basically it's okay, it's alright, but I didn't think it was anything to scream about, to shout about. So let's get on to the cast. Danielle Harris reprises her role as Mary Beth, which is good because it sticks with the continuity. So I can't talk. Keeps it going. Kane Hodder reprises his role as Victor Crowley. Zach Galligan as Sheriff Fowler. Zach Galligan from Gremlins 1 and 2 and Waxwork. He looks pretty good. Caroline Williams. Harry Shen again is in this movie, but as Andrew. Talk about that more later. And you got Robert Diego Ducreux, Derek Mears, Cody Blue Snyder, and you got Rila Vanderbilt, and just so I get the name right, Sid Haig from House of 1,000 Corpses, Devil Rejects is in this movie for like 2 minutes. So basically, the movie continues where the last one left off, part 2 or 2. In a way, I guess it's parts technically because they continue from each other. So Mary Beth gets off him and his face is all shot in and she's got blood all over her, and I'm sitting there going, and she walks off, falls on the floor, and she gets up again. Well, behind her you see Victor sit up with his face all smashed in from the bullets, from the shotgun. He's following her. So he ends up, she pulls the chainsaw, the massive chainsaw from the second one, and it comes on, and he grabs hold of her. And basically, she sticks her fist in his face. Well, he ends up letting go, and he falls back, and gets cut in half. So, after that, she turns up at the police station, where we see Adam Green again, getting arrested. If I'm right. And basically she walks in, blood all over her, gun in her hand, and they go, oh, she's got a gun. So basically she gets down on the floor and the copper says, what's that in her hand? It turns out she's got a scalp. But every time I watched it, I would watch it over and over again, put subtitles on, because it sounded like it sounds scallop. Or skull or something. I was like, it's not a skull, it's not a scallop. So it was a scalp. And basically she's locked up in a cell in the sheriff's department office. And then then Amanda turns up, this reporter journalist kind of person. And it turns out she was married to Sheriff Fowler. And basically you've got this forensics team that's gone to the swamp and they've found all these bodies. And that's where you meet Andrew, Harry Shen. Well, he's not, but it's not related to Justin and Sean from what we know of, because it was never said. But there is a great joke where his co-worker says to him, "There's a lot of people here, and so there's some Asian guys here, and they look. The Asian guy looks a bit like you." And he goes, "What, you think because I'm Asian we all look alike?" And it's just really funny because it's the same guy reprising the role. So it was a really, really funny thing for him to say. You know, like a funny thing in the movie. Basically, all the forensics people end up getting killed except for Andrew because he hides. So the SWAT team turn up and the sheriff's department, and you get the same thing happen again. Basically, they go around, they get killed one by one. Sometimes multiple people at the same time, even just running about cutting them up. But Derek Mears in this movie was really cool. I really liked Derek Mears as Tyler Halls. I really liked him, and I really wanted him to get in a big fight with Victor Crowley near the end or something. But nope. Victor Crowley grabs hold of him, pushes him up against the wall. He goes, "Come on in, do it," and all this. Tyler Halls does, and basically just sticks his arm in him and kills him. Basically, I'm sitting there going, I expected there to be a proper fight with this. I really wanted this because he's a big guy. He's dominant. It's like Tony Todd, you know, and Kane Hodder is like big. So you're like, this will be good. But no, that was a missed opportunity in my mind. The gore in this movie was a lot more than it was in the second one. It reminded me a lot of the first one. But the problem is the people get killed off so quickly and once it gets going. And you don't get any real character development in any of them. It's just like fodder, bit after bit. Boom, 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 dead, 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 boom, boom, dead, dead, boom, boom, dead, you know. And I didn't like that. You get some people that left and it just annoyed me. So basically, Amanda, the reporter, has got Mary Beth out of prison with Deputy Winslow, and they're going around, and she says to Mary Beth, "We can stop Victor Crowley. I know how. We're going to get his dad's ashes." That's where you meet Sid Haig, basically, because it's his uncle's ashes. And so you sit there going, okay. And they get the ashes. Then they go and they find Victor, and basically Amanda says, "Victor, we've got your daddy's ashes. We've got your daddy's ashes." And you're sitting there going, uh-huh. So basically she gets her head ripped off, and the best part was he grabs hold of it, Victor, and he throws it at Mary Beth's head like it's the football, like it's the American football. And it hits her right in the head and knocks her over. That was fantastic. I really, really like that. That was great. That was a great thing in this movie. Probably the highlight for me. He rips her head off and throws it like American football. And basically grabs hold of Mary Beth and he impales her on this branch on a tree, I think. I think it's a branch. And he's about to get her with the thing, and she basically hits the ashes on his head. And he starts rotting like he's been covered in masses of acid. So if you ever want to hurt someone, kill someone that's indestructible, hit them over the head with their family's ashes and they'll just melt away. And I was a bit like, what? So basically then she falls down and she grabs hold of this gun and she's waiting for him to get back up, even though he's all like... And she goes, "Oh, F it." And basically she shoots him, blows him up. Sheriff Fowler and the woman who was with him and Andrew, he gets pulled through a hole before that happens, and then the woman, even though she knows that Victor's going to probably be there, she decides she's going to crawl over near the hole as well, so she gets pulled through. So at the end of it, Andrew basically survives, which I think was kind of symbolism, considering the guy was in all three movies, and the first two times his character died, and in this one he lives. It was kind of a good way to end the trilogy if it was the end. I'm sitting there and I'm like, this film, it was alright. A lot of people like this a lot more than the second one. And I have to admit, I did too at the beginning. I thought, oh, this is looking promising. Looking very promising. But I want the story that they're getting the ashes to throw on Victor, so Victor dies because he can be at rest. It wasn't interesting. It didn't interest me. It felt like let's make a third one because the other two did well, and that's what it's like with movies nowadays. Did I like the movie? Yeah, I watched it. It was a very easy watch. But I think I like the first one the most because the first one was fresh. Problem with number 2 and 3 to me is they seem to be like almost the same movie again and again. Like, where the hell would Mary Beth return for the third time? So the first time she goes there to find her family, right? She finds out they're dead. She thinks she's killed Victor. Second time she goes back because she wants to get their bodies and finish Victor off. The third time she goes there with Veg Ashes. She's just sitting there going, why would you go there again and again and again? So I'm sitting there and I'm like, and it just seemed to be the same stuff to me. I mean, the movie's got great gore, and the gore's great, and I enjoy gore, and I enjoy watching different people getting their body parts ripped off, and all this other stuff. But I would have liked a little bit more stories. We live in the years where we all expect more from horror. I mean, back in the 80s, we had Friday the 13th, right? Teens go to the camp, they get killed one by one survives, well, hey, and they were pretty good. Great ways of killing, fantastic, fun. But do we really, really want the same old thing now? We want a story. We want proper stories. We're in the intelligent years, in my view, of horror, where as much as we love watching Friday the 13th, and we love watching Halloween, and we love watching Child's Play and Hellraiser and all this, what we do need now is just to kind of get a horror movie that shocks us, but isn't found footage, isn't possession, and actually has a decent story to it. Because I don't think any of us find these movies scary anymore, because they've got nothing new to them. I mean, Victor Crowley is basically Jason without a mask, a little bit more deformed. And it's fun to watch. Don't get me wrong, I love watching these movies because they're fun. But can I honestly give them really high ratings after watching the first two? No, I can't. Because there's nothing new in it. It's the same thing again and again. Just like Friday the 13th. To a big degree. But, I mean, the gore's great. The characters are all right. The ones that survive near the end, they do a good job of acting, I think. Daniel House is great. Kane Hodder's great, as Victor. Very menacing, very scary. Zach Galligan did really well. And the journalist who I hated, Amanda, played by Caroline Williams, she was pretty good. I liked how she was obnoxious and just paid you off constantly because you just wanted her to die. And I love the way she died. But I can't honestly say that the movie is fantastic because it's not. Like I said before, it's the same old thing again. And I think I'd give this film a 3 because it was easy to watch and it was enjoyable. And I don't mind films like this. I just want something new. I want something to be more original. Like, why did he have to still stay in the swamp? I know he's protecting the swamp, and I know that he's haunting it. Well, not protecting, but haunting it because of what happened and everything. But I'd like to see him. I'd like to have seen him go to the police station and kill people off or something to try and get to Mary Beth. If they do more and they're all on the swamp, it's just going to get more and more of the same old stuff again. There's a bit in number 2 where you hear apparently there's no birds because they're dead. Yeah, in this movie there's a bird singing them and moving. I'm sitting there going, So yeah, it's an alright movie. I'll give it a 3 because it's very easy watching, but there's nothing original in it, nothing new. And one of the biggest questions I've got is when Victor Crowley basically gets cut in half, how does he survive? How does he get back up? Does he regenerate? Because if that's the case, he can't ever die, surely. Even Jason can't regenerate. I mean, he got blown up and his liver took people over. And Jason X is a completely different movie from that. So I just sat there going, one of the best kills on it, just to do some positives, was when he gets the defibrillators and he puts them on the guy's head and his head explodes. That was fantastic. I love that. But yeah, I would recommend watching it if you've watched the other two. Don't expect anything new or original. It's the same kind of thing again and again as the other two. How I thought the second one was very similar to the first one. It's like a repeat, just with a slightly different story. And this all happens in a matter of, what, 2 days? So all these people die in like 2 days. And you're like, it's a bit unrealistic. But then horror movies are not meant to be realistic. So, yeah, I liked the film. I thought it was alright. Nothing original about it. The plot could have been better. The acting could have been a lot better. But the main people do alright. And to be honest with you, I felt like they could have just pushed it further out in the swamp. So, yeah, well, guys, thanks for watching. Take care. Let me know what you thought of the third Hatchet movie, because I'd like to know your views and opinions. And thanks for watching, and please subscribe. So thanks for watching, guys, and take care.